Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you're audible.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible now?
Yes,
Audible.
Prabhu.
We'll start in 1 minute. Is my screen visible?
हाँ विजिबल है.
Okay, so we are now going to start the boot camp. So we'll start with a short introduction of Python. So we'll see there are two versions of Python here, Python 2 and Python 3. So we are going to use the Python 3 version, which is in use now. So before this there was Python 2 and now it is not being used. It was announced that Python 2.7 will not be maintained and so on. So I hope all of you have installed VS Code, and in that you have installed Python. How many of you have completed this? Okay, if anyone has a problem in installing VS Code, then they can contact any of their seniors personally. And after installing VS Code, you can install Python. A video has been uploaded on the Google Classroom. So you can watch that to install Python. You can check the version of Python in the version which you have downloaded by using this code, import sys and sys.version. This will give you the version of Python which you have downloaded. For example, here it is 3.10.10. After this, we need pip. So pip is used to install various packages in Python which will be used for various applications. Suppose you need to use some function, then you need to import a package. So you need pip. The instruction for downloading pip is also posted on Google Classroom. But usually, I think many of you will face problem in installing pip. So you can go with Anaconda as well. There is another one document. This I've uploaded after the pip. I've uploaded another file that contains the steps for installing Anaconda. So that is a more easier. It is easier to install as well as easier to use than pip. Most of you will face less problems. So if you want, you can install pip, or you can directly go with Anaconda. So in that, you can just follow the steps under install Jupyter using Anaconda and Conda. So we are going to share this introduction file as well. This is just some information which is not really used, but we are just going to give a short introduction of Python. So if you use this command, import this, then it gives some nice nice output, like uh, like it gives some you can see the output here. It gives some poetry kind of thing. It's not that important. And we are going to see how Python code runs. Python is a interpreted language. I hope you all know what is interpreter and compiler. So those who have done C, they might know that C is a compiled language, whereas Python is a interpreted language. So what is the difference between a compiler and interpreter? So a compiler converts the entire your code into a machine understandable code, while interpreter converts it line by line, or basically it directly executes it line by line, and whenever it encounters an error, it gives the error at that line without executing the further lines. But when you use a compiler, you will see all the errors at once. For example, in C and C++, you have to first compile it, then you get all the errors in your code displayed, then you correct the errors, then you execute. But in Python, it's like you just execute it, and wherever the first error is encountered, the execution stops there and the error will be printed. Until you correct the error, the further lines will not be executed. So you can see about other languages as well. For example, Java is both compiled and interpreted language. For in Java, the source code is first of all converted into bytecode using a compiler, and then it is interpreted. So different languages work differently, but at the point of writing your code, you need not worry so much about how it is going to be run. So you can just remember that Python is an interpreted language. We can actually visualize this by using this kind of example. For example, you suppose we write some statement like this: x equal to 3. Can you see the screen? Is my screen visible?
No, it's not visible. Whatever you're typing is not visible. Maybe you have shared the only tab screen.
Suppose we write some statement like x equal to 3, and then I just put x into 3. You can see that the output is printed 9. So if you give some other statement like it immediately executes the whenever you write a line, it immediately executes it. Like this is how you can see that a Python is using an interpreter. It does it line by line, so you can see this. But normally the way we write programs is going to be in a file format. Like we are going to write all our code in a file and name it as .py file. So Python scripts are saved with .py extension, and then you run it. Although it is run line by line itself, we are going to write it as a file where all the code is present, and then it is run, and the Python will run it line by line. You can see that there is something called as IPython interpreter apart from the Python interpreter. So this is called as interactive Python interpreter. So it is a more better version, or a better alternative for Python interpreter. You can uh, get the information regarding your Python interpreter by just typing Python in the command prompt. And if you have IPython, you can do the same thing to get the version which you have for the IPython interpreter. So next, we'll be seeing what is Jupyter Notebook. So most of your assignments, everything will be using Jupyter Notebook. And once you have installed Anaconda, you will be having Jupyter Notebook easily. So uh, it won't be a problem. So I would recommend you to go with Anaconda. So Jupyter Notebook is consists of two kinds of blocks. It consists of a code block. It consists of a markdown block. We'll just open one Jupyter Notebook, and then it gives a better idea. So, in fact, this itself is a Jupyter Notebook. Here there is no less code, but still, I'll open another Jupyter Notebook. So this is a Jupyter Notebook, and for Jupyter Notebooks, you will have .ipynb as your extension. So this is a markdown block where you write your text. You can add a block for code here, or you can add a markdown block here. For markdown block, you can write your text, and for code, you can write your code, and then you can execute it using this one. For example, here there is a code block. You can
I
execute
think
it.
your screen is not visible. Your screen is not visible soon. The command prompt is visible.
I hope it is
Yeah,
visible.
now it's visible.
So I was telling that Jupyter Notebook have this .ipynb extension, and for Python files, we have seen that it is .py. So in Jupyter Notebook, you'll have two kinds of blocks. One is called code block, and another is a markdown block. This is a markdown block where you have text in it. You can add a code block by clicking on this, or you can add a markdown block by clicking on this. In your code block, you can write your code and execute it. This Jupyter Notebook is helpful because you can mix this markdown on code blocks and get a better experience of get a better understanding, or present it in a better understandable way. For example, this is a code block. You can run it by clicking on this, and then you'll get the output here. If you For a code block, if you just click this, it just executes it and gives the output here. So Jupyter Notebooks provides a very good environment for creating these kind of files, and it provides us an important way to present things in a very understandable manner. So you can all the instructions for Anaconda and everything has been given in that steps. If anybody faces any problem, you can contact any of the seniors personally. So here we are seeing um, some functionalities in Python which are common for all, which are basic and in a broad category. For example, you can use help to get the information regarding any keyword or any object in Python. For example, len is a keyword in Python. If you want uh, the information about length, you can just type help len, and you can just execute it. So it gives len object comma this it returns the number of items in a container. So this means if you pass an object to len, then it returns the number of items in a container. Like if you pass a list, it gives a number of items in a list. If you pass a set, it gives a number of items in the set. You're going to learn the list and set and len function, everything later on, but we are just telling about the help function. You can type any keyword or any function or any built-in function here to get help regarding that. So these are some other things in Python which are not used generally, but you can use these things to get more information about how these things are constructed in Python. For example, if you use the question mark character, for example, len and question mark, it gives that entire documentation and relevant information regarding len. So for example, you can see the signature len object, that means the syntax for using len. And the documentation is that it returns the number of items in a container. And what it is a built-in function. Len is a built-in function. So it is giving the entire information about len. So if you just type this len and then question mark, then you'll get the entire documentation of len. So these you're going to learn about lists, etc. later on. So now I would move on and we'll okay, we are going to see the next one, that is basically double question mark. So in double question mark, what it is basically providing again a documentation of it. So but you can get a, am I audible?
You are audible.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
So we are talking about this double question mark. So double question mark will also give you the documentation of the keyword or built-in function you wanted to know about. It also gives but here it gives also the source code of the object. For example, you have created a function square. Then here we have created a function square, for example, here. And you have then typed square and double question mark. Then you get the source code of square as well. What is the source code? Source code is basically the code which you have written in the high level programming language, or basically now in Python. So you get the code which you have written for the function as well. If you use a single question mark, you just get the documentation as you can see here. Similarly, you can use it for this, but so these things are other things which you can just go through, but these are not very important. Next, we'll move on to the basic syntax of Python, which will be taken by Ansh Prabhu and Bhavya Prabhu.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhu.
Okay. I'm sharing my screen. My hello, my screen is visible or not?
Yes, Prabhu, your
Please
screen is visible.
maintain. Okay, now I will move forward with uh second part. Here you can see that in Python uh, you can see you can see how the this code is implemented. You can simply set the midpoint using midpoint is equal to 5, and then uh, for what this means exactly, this means that in the range I varies from 0 to 10. If I is less than 10, lower dot append diamonds, it will print the values from 0 to 4. So here you can what is printed here. And other else afterwards from 5 to 10, you can see
प्रभु आपकी
the printed part is this.
अंश प्रभु आपकी शायद करंट पेज शेयर नहीं हो रहा है आपका प्रीवियस पेज शेयर हो रहा है उसके अंदर नो प्रीव्यू अवेलेबल दैट पेज पाइथन पार्ट
Now
नो प्रभु अभी भी नहीं हुआ है एक बार आप फिर से रिकनेक्ट करिए
okay,
री स्क्रीन शेयर करिए या नाउ इट इज विजिबल
now
विजिबल विजिबल
okay, okay, now I hope it is visible. Okay, so as you can see, the Python is the easiest of all the language. This I will explain to this example. Here you can see that you can simply say the midpoint is equal to 5. It will assume that the midpoint is as at 5. And for this blue part, you can see how if you will say for I in range 10, it means that I varies from 0 to 10. And if I consider I less than midpoint, it means I less than midpoint with I less than 5, it or assume it. So for 0 to 4, or lower up and down. But it means the lower part is contain 0 to 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And else part, matlab, if I is not less than 5 means I greater than equal to 5, 5 to 10. So upper or append will contain 5 to 10 parts. So if I print the lower part, I will simply get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the upper part, I will get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm moving forward. Uh, there's a hex function for within a comments. I hope in C you have seen this part. We can use the comment part in hash. And here also x plus equal to simply means x equal to x plus. So it is a shorthand representation. In C you can, or some people have learned C. So here you use this part for using multi-line or multi-line element. But in Python, you there is something different. Here you can see that uh, how you can simply use the x equal to one plus here like this. Here this mark represents the next line. You can also use this bracket instead of this. Here do not use the semicolon part like you have used in C. So this is a feature of Python. This is such a simple language. You have made several mistakes in C also. Do you have EAC part using not using semicolon. But here there is no such problem here. Okay. Indentation part, as I've explained you that for C language you have to use such brackets at all. But in Python you do not need that. If I simply write this, it will automatically mean the same. For I in range 10 means I varies from 0 to 10 or this one. Also, normally give four spaces here. You can see here, if for better indentation. Yeah, in this example, for the C code, so you have to use such this part, a proper indentation. But in Python, you simply write this, it will mean the same. So it is a very simple language. Yeah, you can see this a colon part. This will make the thing same as the C code. Here you have to use brackets and so it is a very complex thing. But Python is a very simple, so you can see only this part will mean the whole thing. Also, here you can see that if you use print below the y, you can this will means that x is less than 4. But if you print is extra from here from use print here, it will mean that it will include all the x, including 4. So you need to be careful for that. Simple mistake. Okay. It doesn't matter how much space you give here. Like x equal to 1 plus 2, you are given no space. It's similar to the x 1 plus 2 are given spaces, and this also. This will mean typically the same. And for this part, a double star means you are using the power. This means x equal to 10 raised to the power minus 2. Uh, yeah, it is obviously advisable to like this, but both will mean the same. Parenthesis for here, see that simple 2 into 3 plus 4, it will give 14. And here we are using a different ways of printing how it will give the output. So you can gives the output first value is 1, second value is 2. Okay. Here you can see it. L we are given the list 432 given an array 4321 and then L dot sort. It means it will similarly sort the array right away. So you do not need to write the function for that. It will simply sort the L dot sort. Okay. And then when you will print L, it will simply print the array 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So you this is simply makes our function makes our task very easier. This is the typically thing. Like for Python 2, you need not use the bracket here. But for Python 3, we have to use the bracket. But there are so many loopholes like you can read it out. Okay. Now we're moving forward. Uh, Actual simply means you have to sign the. It is simple like that. It means that x is an integer, but for the c, as you have learned in C, many people, you have to use the this part int x equal to 4. But in Python, you can simply say x equal to 4. It will mean the same that x is an integer and its value stored is 4. Like this here. If you say x equal to 1, it means x is an integer. If you say x equal to uh, hello, it automatically means x is a string. If you say x equal to 1 to 3, it will automatically assume the x is a list which contains three elements 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so Python makes the work much easier. Okay, this is something like dynamic typing. Here, one important part I will. Okay, this I've used before also that x dot append 4. It makes add x list like x contains 1 to 3, and when I say x dot append 4, it means that list has increased, and now this will become x 1 2 3 4. So when you will print y, it will print 1 2 3 4, but before it was 1 2 3. Okay, so this is also very simple thing. Now if you will say x or something else, uh, but when you will print y, the y will still print 1 2 3 4. This is something like the pointer, like you are changing the value of variable x, but not the object that x is pointing. Like x is pointing to the list 1 2 3 4 earlier, but now you are saying x go to something else. So here the list 1 2 3 4 is not changed, which was assigned to y. So printing y will still print 1 2 3 4, but the x is now changed. The variable x is changed, but the thing which x is pointed to 1 2 3 4 it still remains the same. Therefore, the y is printing y will still print 1 2 3 4, though the variable x has been changed now. Like here, you can see here x is equal to 10, y is equal to x. So y is assigned the object, which is 10. Now I have increased the value of x by 5. This means x is equal to 10 plus 5, 15. Okay. So now x is 15, but the 10 which was assigned to y still remains the same. Therefore, this will still print the y is equal to 10 because y was pointed to 10, which does not change, but x was pointed to 10, which changed to 15. So the value of x has changed, but the value of y still remains the same because it was pointed to 10. This does not change. Only the variable y x has changed to 15. So this is an important thing. The use of pointer here. Okay. Uh, so here you can see the type of which is a type of x. So x equal to 4, I will tell you that it simply means that x is an integer. So it will bob. You can execute it and see that int will be as output. It means that x is an integer. If I say x equal to hello and type x, so what is the type of x? Here you can, I will tell you that x will, it will automatically assume that x was an string. So type x will simply print str, means x is the string. Similarly, this x equal to 3.14159, it will simply assume that x is a float variable. So type x will simply or print the value or print float, means x is a float. Okay, this thing I've told you before that L is equal to 1 to 3 and L dot append 100, which simply means that 100 is appended to the L at the last. 1, 2, 3, and then 100. So printing L will print 1, 2, 3, and 100, as 100 was appended after the at the last of L. Okay, this was the important thing. And here you can see x equal to 4.5. X is out here. What is the real part? It is 4.5. Plus will out print as it is. And x dot imaginary. Imaginary part will be 0.0. There is no imaginary part in it. And I will print straight away. Okay. As I already explained it, that x is a built-in function. So typically the same thing. Now I will request Bhavya Prabhu to continue from here. Uh, Bhavya Prabhu, please continue from here.
Uh, Prabhu, I think that we can summarize whatever we have covered till now, and I think that time is already for 4:40, so it will not be good to continue all the.
That's why I summarized the latest. Uh, this is a simple operation that you have, or some people have done see that a plus b addition, or I don't need to explain. You can simply see the slide. This very simpler part. I don't need a unit line explanation for that. Uh, Bitwise, this you can see. This is a thing. Bitwise and bitwise or bitwise jor. Okay, yeah, this is important thing. If you say bin, then the it will write 0b 1010 is a bit representation of 10. So it will simply write 0b 1010. Like for 4, it will write 100 as 100 is the bit representation of 4 and bitwise or. So 4 here, 4 and 10, it will write 14. Okay, and bn 4 or this line 10, this will mean write the bit representation of 14, which is 1110. So you can see here. This is simple thing print a assignment operation. In C, many of you learn this is a assignment operator. So you can see a plus 2, it will change to 26. A plus, it will simply mean the same. A is equal to plus 2. Uh, I think there's not much thing. This will simply mean that it is odd. So this is true and this is false. So obviously this will two lies in between. And this is less than 6 and get into obvious. Okay, it will print the value 2 and then it will obviously X source 4, so this will be 0. This will print, this will be false. So you can go through the slide once more if you have any doubts. So this will you can go. It's a simple thing. You don't need any explanation. So if you have any doubts, you can test us personally. Okay. Now I have explained the thing that I want. Okay. You can go to slide. If you have any doubts, you can message us in the chat box, and also you can message personally also. So this is a basic syntax thing. I don't think anybody feels from here. From next onwards, next class, we will see if else statement and more like that. Okay, from till now you have seen that it seems very simpler the Python language. You do not we are free from various errors that will make them see. Okay, otherwise, the thing is like the same as C. Okay, I have completed my part. If you have any doubts, you can write in the chat box, and also please go to slide once more. You will uh, understand it more clearly. We will also upload the assignment after some time, so you can go through that also. This is simple syntax thing, so you will not face much difficulty here.
I think we should summarize it once. Is everybody okay with whatever has been done now? Like everything, have you understood something, or everything just went about your head, or is it fine? All of you, please react.
Yeah, please react. How do I know that you understand? Actually, my voice was not clear. I have some code, but if you understand or not understand, please write in the comments so that I can know. Otherwise, it was of no use if you are not understanding and not responding to me. Yeah, the slides will be shared here. Slides will be sent in the classroom. Every material that I've discussed here, it will be shared in classroom. So you don't need to worry about that.
We'll summarize once again so that it is clear what we have done today. And you can also go through the slides later on and then clarify your doubts. But uh, to make it clear, we'll just summarize it once in simple words. Ansh Prabhu, can you stop your screen share?
Okay.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, Prabhu, your screen is visible.
So here, what are the takeaways? Basically, there are two versions of Python, Python 2 and Python 3. We are going to use Python 3 only. So we need a package. We need a package called pip, which is in fact used to download install other packages also. So instead of pip, you can also use not actually instead of pip. It is you can instead of directly downloading pip, you can use Anaconda, which takes care of it in a better manner. It also Anaconda also manages installing packages and so on. And then we saw that Python is an interpreted language. So interpreted language in the sense it is the code is executed line by line, and if any error is found, it stops the execution at that point. We saw that there is another alternative or better version, interpreter called as IPython interpreter, interactive Python. That's it. And then we saw how Jupyter notebooks work and how to use Jupyter notebook using two kinds of blocks, code block and uh, markdown block. So we saw help function, which you can use to get information regarding any keyword or built-in function. We saw the question mark and we saw the double question mark. After this, we saw that for comments, we use the hash for a single line comment instead of the backslash or double backslash which you were using for C. So in Python comments, for single line comment, you use a hash. You can terminate a line using a backslash in your code. We are not going to use this, so you can just skip this one. In Python, you can either use a semicolon or you can skip it, but it basically means that semicolon is not required in Python, unlike other languages where semicolon is required to terminate a statement. Here, the end of line itself means the the end of the line itself means the end of the statement. So if you want to write a single statement in 2 lines, you can use this backslash, but we rarely do this thing. So if you use a backslash, this entire thing will be considered as one statement, although you have written it in 2 lines. So we rarely use this kind of thing because it is again confusing. We'll better write one statement in 1 line itself. Also, you cannot write two statements like this without a semicolon. If you're writing two statements in a line, you will have to use a semicolon. And in Python, indentation is very important, unlike other languages like C. In C, you can write your code, everything in 1 line, or you can make random indentation. But here, indentation is very important. For example, in the for block, for, we are not going to use curly braces in Python. We are going to use the colon. So this colon is important, which is not present in other languages. So for we are using this colon. For if, we are using this colon. So after for, you have given this indentation of this space, which is one tab usually. So this indicates that this entire thing, which is which has this much space, this entire thing is a part of the for block, and this space indicates that this is a part of the if block. So if you write something like this, let's say here, so you have space here as well as here. So both these statements will be considered as a part of the if block. But here, only this statement will be considered as a part of if block, and this won't be a part of if block. There are no curly braces here to indicate that. Only the indentation will tell you which is whether it is a part of the if block or for block, etc. So indentation plays a very important role in Python. There are no curly braces. We are going to see the loops and if else. So those who are not familiar with the if else and for loop, don't worry. This is just to show you that indentation is important in Python. Within 1 line, you can give any amount of space. It doesn't matter. You can write it without any space, or you can give very large space. It doesn't matter. Indentation matters with respect to relative indentation of lines matters. So this is usual. For grouping, we use parentheses. This is normal. In general, also we use brackets for grouping, or for mathematical operations, it has the first priority. We know that, and we'll be seeing it later as well in operators. So here, next we'll see the print function. So print function is used to print some output. For example, here you print the print first value comma 1, meaning it prints the string. So a string is enclosed in single or double quotes in Python. So for print, this print is a built-in function, and you need to pass. We are passing here a string comma a integer 1. So this comma will act like a concatenation operator with respect to the print statement. So you can pass any number of arguments to the print statement separated by comma, and they will be printed as if they were concatenated as one string. So you first it prints the string first value, and then you put comma 1, so it prints 1. So in C, you will be using percentage D and then write the variable name or 1. So here it's not that case. You can directly write uh, you can directly write it as comma and then the value which you have to print. So you can pass any kind of argument to print function. So suppose if you pass a list, so L is a list here. We are going to see what is a list also, but we are just talking about print here. So you can pass even a list to a print, then it prints the entire list. So so a Python is very flexible language with where the syntax is very flexible. So this is a difference between Python 2 and Python 3. We are going to use only Python 3, so better we'll be sticking with Python 3. In Python 3, you'll use the parenthesis. Parenthesis is necessary for print function. So I think we can stop till here. Does anybody have any doubt, or Ans Prabhu and Babya Prabhu can add some points till here to clarify things until this point at least?
Okay, actually, my speed is very fast, so I have seen some messages. I will take that factor. I will be slow next time. I think the whole content will summarize. But still, if there are any doubts, you can ask us. Uh, someone asked, can we use simple quote or double quote? Basically, they mean the same. You can use both. Hmm, that depends on you. Actually, many of you don't know loops and if else what. So you don't need to bother about that. We will cover that in later lectures. This was simply a syntax. Matlab, you need to know how is the syntax and what is the thing, how to write those Python code. This lecture was basically on that. So you don't need to worry about what is being discussed, how we are printing. That will tell in detail afterwards. Uh, today's lecture's purpose was only to make you aware of what is Python and what is syntax. Simple fact. And what is the tools that should be used. Okay. Please go through slide once more. It will be very helpful for you all. We will upload it on the Google Classroom after the class. And after that, you can ask doubts also. Will be active on that platform.
Everyone, please install that Python in your VS Code and watch that video carefully and follow each step carefully because if you miss even one step, then it will create some problem in your installing. First work that you have to install your Python in your VS Code, and second you can try Google Collapse also, and third follow the we will share the slides in a while on your that Google Classroom, and please go through them because the stuff that we have covered today, Ansh Prabhu and Sagar Prabhu have covered, they are very basic part, and if you don't understand them, then from next classes onwards it will be difficult to understand the other codes. So they are very basic part. Syntax basically means that is the formula of the code. If you don't know the formula, then you can't write the other code, whole code. So it is very basic, and just go through the slides. If you have any doubt, WhatsApp any one of us or in the group. I prefer you to post it out in the group, so that if others members also have any doubt in that, they also get clear about that. uh, and you can also message us personally. uh, and if you have any doubt while installing, we will address them at the end of the tomorrow's class. And please make sure that you cover all the that you just at least read through all these parts, because it will be very difficult from tomorrow if you don't know the today's basic part. Chirash, do you want to add something?
No, bro, it was pretty much fine. I just want to thank all the Y23s. I know they are in their homes and busy with the holidays, but still they are finding some time to attend these sessions. And I know now it you can attend for some time, but it will be really helpful in future when you try to work in some areas and you at least know some knowledge, so you can be confident. And also, I want to request everyone to attend the evening session. Today we have a very special alumni who was studying with us in IIT Kanpur, and he was connected to our club. And now, how he is living a life of simplicity and how he's excelling in his field. He will be sharing all this, and it will be quite interesting. I am keeping the suspense about his name and these things. I know they have sent you some message, but there is a surprise. So everyone, please attend the alumni session from 7:30, and you will get to know a lot about spirituality as well as how to live a mm, life of goodness. So thank you, and thanks to the speakers also. They very nicely presented. And if you have any doubt, you can contact them. You can post in group. You can text anyone. So feel free to ask your doubts. Thank you very much, Sagar, for watching.
All of you please complete your setup by tomorrow, installing Python and pip or Anaconda. So if you have any problem in that, you can contact us tonight, and better get it solved by tomorrow. We'll end the meet here. If anybody has doubts now, they can ask. Does anybody have doubts now?
It is getting late. If you have any doubts, please tell, otherwise leave.
Okay, we'll end the meeting. Hare Krishna.